Brittany, if you want to take it away.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys so much for coming. We are very excited for, our first real webinar with Voice for a workshop. We hope this is helpful for you guys. What we'll do is kind of go over the game plan. We'll go over some housekeeping before we get started. While we do that, if you guys, really get the most out of this, if you want to pull up your Voice portal and your FAQ2 admin, log in, and that way we can kind of follow along to make sure that you're really getting everything from it. So we'll give you a minute to let that open up. And if you guys want to, I'll know you're done and ready to go. If you guys want to pop an emoji in the chat, let me know how you guys are feeling today, how everything's going, and we'll kind of go from there. If you guys need help pulling anything up, please let us know too. All right, people are pumped. It's a great lesson. All right, yes, always have FAQP2 up and ready to go. All right, give it another second. Yeah. Does anyone need help getting in? Is everyone good to go? All right, so I guess we'll kind of get into it. And if you need help pulling anything up along the way, let us know. First, we'll kind of go over the game plan, like I mentioned, and then we'll do some housekeeping. So what's the game plan for today? What we're going to talk about are some features that you might have gone over on your onboarding with us, but maybe you forgot about, or maybe it's been a while since you've used them. Maybe you've had new agents, come and go. So you want to kind of refresh everything. So we're going to go over some features to make your lives a little bit easier, kind of build your confidence with the voice, and hopefully so you can get the most out of it. So the topics that we're going to go over today are going to be the extension names. We're going to talk about FAQP2 admin, inbound route prefix, print extensions, extension settings page, blacklist, Bria Connect, and paid modules. And then we have Angelo here from support, which we're really excited about, and he's going to go over some frequently asked questions that he sees come up a lot in his day-to-day, and we'll kind of go from there. So let's go over some housekeeping first. Obviously, make sure you guys are muted, but if you do have a question, we absolutely encourage you to kind of stop us where we're at, ask a question, pop it in the chat, whatever is easier for you, because we want to make sure, again, that you're getting the most out of this. And then you don't have to have your screen on, but we encourage you to. It's kind of nice to obviously put a name with a face. So if you want to put your screen on, you can, but again, don't feel obligated. And yeah, any questions along the way, let us know, and we'll kind of get jumping into it. Ashley is going to send out a survey as well, so we can kind of gauge to see how you feel before about voice. And then we can go from there. So you can feel free to answer that question. All right, and then we'll kind of get into the first of our features. So the first one is going to be extension names. So what is this? This is basically where you add your agent's name to the extension. Why is this feature? Why do we have it? It's just easily assigns and identify who owns that extension, make your life a little bit easier. How will it do that is you'll be able to see the names of all your agents instead of just some random numbers. So if you're doing things like searching for a call, it just will make your life a little bit easier. So if you want to pull up voice, and we'll show you where to go. So first you want to go to applications. And then if you go down to extensions, click on that. All right. And then you'll see all your extensions listed out here. You'll see that we have ours named already. But if you see an example of one that is not named, all you would do is go over to the right-hand side. You'll see an edit button. You'll be able to click on that. And from there, you can edit the name to display whatever you need it to be. So it's kind of, again, a nice feature. And then if you go to the bottom right, you hit submit. And the top right-hand side, you'll see apply config, save it twice, make it nice. So that way you can make sure that it does stick when you make those changes. So that's really nice because it will change the display on the agent's phone, on reporting. So just a little bit, an easy, quick thing that you can do to kind of clean up everything and make it easily accessible for you. All right, so that's the first feature. Next, we'll talk about FAQ. I like how Michael said, always have it up. Yes, love it. So if you guys want to pull that up, and what this is going to be nice for is listening to live calls. You can whisper to your agents, take over the calls. And the reason we have this feature is for training, compliance, managing throughout the day. And how does this make your life easier? Well, it allows you to listen to your agents, see who's signed into the phone, see who's available for taking calls and who's on a call. So it's just a really nice feature to have in the day-to-day. So if you pull up FAQ admin, I'll let everyone pull it up too, just to make sure. So you'll see you have all the agents listed out here. We'll kind of start with the icons at the very top. So the first 5 icons, you're going to notice that you probably don't use if you are already, using this frequently, but you won't use them. So the 6th icon you'll see an outgoing arrow. That is to take over the call if you need to. So that would take it over from the agent. It would be you on the call if for some reason there's a situation that arises that needs to happen. The next one over, and that's going to be the ear listening. That's to just listen to the call only. That's a really nice feature because if you want to do some coaching with your agents, kind of see what's going on the floor, that is a really great feature. We can hear what's going on, but the consumer won't be able to hear you. And then the 8th icon over, the microphone. Now, if you actually want to talk to your agents, this is nice. This is good for like training purposes. This is the whisper function. So it will allow you to listen to the call again, and the agent can hear you making any suggestions or any coaching throughout the call. And then if you go to the next icon over, the 9th one you'll see an incoming arrow. That's used to end the current call that the agent is on. We don't see a lot of people use this, but I'm sure every now and then it might come up for you to use. And then if you kind of look at the agents, then you'll see that they're all in green right now, but when they're in orange, that's how you know that they're on a call. You'll see line 1 and line 2. Right now, you'll see a lot are inactive. When they are active, you'll see that a phone number is going to pop up, so you know what number they're talking to. What's really nice about like logging in and using this feature too is it's customizable. So let's say you have a manager that you want them to be able to listen to, just a few of the agents, a certain group. They can have their own unique login, which is really nice that they can kind of monitor the calls. And then you can see an example right now of an orange call of somebody on the line right now. Right. Any questions so far about that? A nice little feature that Angelo is actually going to talk about a little bit later is if you notice how we talked about changing the names from the extension number to an actual name, you do have that ability in FAQ admin as well. Angelo will go over that in a little bit. And I believe we have a question. What is your question, Michael?
Hey guys, I'm definitely not eating lunch right now. Sorry. So if you could go back to your previous screen, you had your users organize their sales, admin, support. Like how do you do that? And hopefully I didn't miss it.
I can answer that. So basically, it's with the FAQ admin portal. It's not something that we really show a lot of people, just because it's kind of a little bit complicated. So anyone from support can walk you through how to do it.
Sweet.
So basically, it's just basically setting up groups, naming them whatever you want it to be, and then we can assign extensions to those groups. So It's really not that bad, so I can show you maybe sometime later.
Love it. Thank you.
Question. Anyone else have any questions while we're kind of paused for a second? All right, so let's jump back into it. The next feature we're going to talk about is inbound route prefix. So why do we have this feature? It allows you to filter inbound calls and easily identify the purpose of their calling. How does this make your life a little bit easier? Well, it just identifies the reason why they're calling in, allows you to help that person a little bit better while you're answering the call. What we're going to do is just show you some screenshots of how this is going to look. But if you do need help setting this up, please let us know in the chat. But really how we, like, for example, how we use it is if there's a support call, you'll see the prefix pop up SUP. This example right here shows direct. So either it can ring to like a main group where it's ringing everybody and you know that's just an incoming call, or it's coming to you directly. You can have a sales prefix, billing, making a payment. So you can really identify it. That way, you know, when you're answering the call, you know, oh, this person called in to make a payment today, and you know how to answer that call and kind of move forward. So again, feel free to reach out to us. That would be one that support's going to help you with, like Angelo had mentioned, with the FAQ admin. But that's something that's really easy to do and kind of makes your life a little bit easier. All right. And then the print extensions, we'll talk about that. So this is pretty straightforward, really easy, but very useful to have just in case you forgot about it. So you can actually print out all your extension and feature codes on one page. So we have this, why do we like this feature? It's a high level and you'll be able to see all the extensions and again, enabled codes. How does this make your life easier? It's printer friendly. I know a lot of our clients, when we come into your office and do any setups, a lot of times they have a pre-made like worksheet already made, but we know, if agents leave or come, that might change. So this is an easy way to kind of go into Voice, be able to print this out, every day if you need to, if things are changing, but it's pretty easy. So let's show you what it looks like. So if you want to go back to your Voice, you're going to go over to reports this time and go down to print extensions. And then you can kind of see here, so it lists off everyone's name, it has their extension numbers, and then where the actual print is if you go over to the right, yours might look a little bit different with your version, but if you go over to the right-hand side, you'll see there's a print button. So pretty easy. If you scroll down, you'll be able to see different options as far as feature codes that you might have enabled. For example, if you're using dynamic caller IDs, you'd be able to see that if I press, *7, you can easily do that. That way, if agents forget or, they're having a day, they can easily reference that to make their life a little bit easier. So I'm gonna just take a quick second, pause right there. If anyone has any questions so far, of anything we've gone over at all, speak now, but there's still time. So what I'm gonna do is have Ashley take over and go through some more fun features.
Hey guys, thanks Brittany, awesome job. We're just kind of switching it up. We're still going through some features. So I'm just gonna keep going on with this. So the next feature we're going over is going to be the extension settings page. So this allows you to see what extension is currently set to. So it's just a high level overview of the status of all extensions in one screen. The reason why this makes your life easier is you can see the full picture of what your agents are set to, whether it's unavailable, if it's set to do not disturb, and so on. So I am going to drag the portal over. This is going to be under settings and then extension settings. So you can see here all of the information, and it's really just the extensions. So this is our account. So all of our extensions are active and available right now. The biggest thing I would say in this screen to look at is going to be the DND. So call waiting is checked for all extensions, and they're most likely checked for you guys as well. And the only reason for that is because we know you guys are constantly on your phones in your agency. So if someone is currently on a call and a second call comes to them, that's just what call waiting is. So that's the CW. and then DND right next to that. So none of us are on DND right now. But if you ever did have, let's say, one of your agents say like they're not getting inbound calls on their phones, this would be a good screen to go to and just easily check if they do have their phone on DND. Maybe it was an accident, but it's just a very easy change. So if you did ever see that, you can just uncheck the box, save that, and they'll be good to go as well in there. The next thing is going to be blacklist setting or module. So I know some other VoIP providers don't allow access to this. So I think it's really good, and it does definitely make your life easier by having full access to this. As we know, consumers can definitely be constantly calling you, and it can definitely be a nuisance. I've seen it a lot. So this just gives you the ability to block a number from calling into your office. So it's just very easy to add, and you'll be able to see all of the numbers that you do have blacklisted. So if for some reason you did want to remove a number in the future from being blocked, you can easily do that as well. So back again in the main portal, you're going to actually go to admin and then blacklist. So some example of numbers here, and this is what your list would look like as you add more numbers. So you would just click blacklist number right here. This little window would pop up. All you have to do is type in the phone number that you want to block. You don't have to put a description in here if you don't want to. The most important thing with this is you have to put the number in here as what it does come up as, and is your caller ID. So if, for example, there is a 1 in front of the number, you will want to make sure that 1 is added once you do add a number to your blacklist. And then all you have to do is save changes, and that number then goes into the blacklist call or list. If you realize you typed it wrong, you can edit it under actions, or you can also delete a number in the future if you wanted to unblock that number and have it allow calling you again. So super simple. You guys do have full access to this. You don't have to call us every time you need to do this. So it's super easy and super good to have access to as well.
And I would add one more thing too with blacklist. Like, let's say someone's blowing up your office with like the anonymous caller ID or the restricted caller ID. It's sensitive to whatever the caller ID is coming up as. So if you enter an anonymous in the blacklist and you submit that, it will block all traffic with the anonymous tag or restricted, for example, too. Pretty useful tool if your office is getting blown up and you really just need to stop that one person, blowing up your line for at least a day. And then you can, let's say you have some legitimate traffic, legitimate call-ins that are using the anonymous tag or something, and you want them to come through, then you just take off the blacklist, and hopefully that person stops spamming you, So I just wanted to add that real quick.
Thanks, Angelo. Moving on, we are going to talk about Bria Connect. Some of you may know what this is already. If not, it is our unified communications tool. So the reason why we have this is just to give our clients the ability to conduct video conferencing, internal messaging, screen sharing, chat rooms, and all have that on one platform, essentially. It was amazing during the pandemic, and I know some people still are remote. So it's kind of just gets you away from having your phone system as well as a way to communicate with each other like Slack or Teams, for example. The reason why this feature would make your life easier is just because it does increase communication between your team members. It can be accessed anywhere, anytime. With Connect, there is a phone app, so you can actually download that on your cell phone, and you can literally access that at any time. So I do want to just bring this over. It's just going to be the soft phone. So this is just what it looks like right in the screen here. If anyone on the call is currently using our soft phone, it looks the exact same. There's really not too much difference with the looks of it. But these 3 tabs at the top here would be enabled. So you'd be able to use these options. So the first option is screen sharing. So if you were to click that, You can share your screen right away, or you can generate a link and send it to your agents or maybe other managers so they can jump on that link and they can see your screen and go through whatever you're going through. So if there's training or anything like that, you can use screen sharing. And then there's also video conferencing. So you can start the conference now, or you can schedule a conference and then also copying a conference link. So the cool thing with conferences in Connect is it doesn't have to just be used for internal use. So that link that you get when you do schedule a conference or you start a conference now, you can send that to anyone. So if you do have conferences externally with clients or something, you can send them that link. They can join via phone or their webcam. So anyone can join that conference call as well. So it's not just internal with this. And then the last thing is going to be the messages. So this is just what the window looks like. So you can see on the left-hand side, there's rooms and people. So rooms would be like group chats. So if you wanted everyone in your office to be in a group chat, you can do that. And then under people, those would be direct messages. So this is just a good way to communicate and just have it all be in one location. You'll also, if you do have this enabled, you'll see a little one notification on this messaging icon. And then if you are familiar with any soft phone uses, it does pop up at the bottom right, a call coming in. So it would be the same thing for messages. So you wouldn't miss out on those messages. You would know when they're there, and you would be notified of those as well. And then my last one is going to be these free PBX paid modules. So a lot of people don't know that these are available. And I'm sure most of you do know that we do use a backend database called Free PBX, which is just an open source database. So it's very customizable. So they do have these modules, and the reason why they have these is it just allows you to drill down on customizations that may not be included in the standard version of Voice for you guys. But there may be a certain module that does fit your business needs better. So the reason why this may make your life easier is if there is specific things that you do need, even if you're not thinking of anything right now, if you take a look at them and you're like, oh yeah, like I could use this, it would definitely make your life easier. So I'm going to, it's a website, and I'm just going to share it on my screen right now. And then I'll also put the link in the chat so you guys can kind of browse through these as well. So these are all the modules that you can have. So there is a ton, and you may not know exactly what all of them do. But for example, if I clicked on Q reports, it does give you a little background of what each module does. There's also some screenshots in here so you can see what it looks like. And then also like a user guide to get more information. You can see that there is some costs associated with these. This I think is a little bit higher priced one. They're not all like this, but it is always just a one-time fee, and it's directly through Free PBX. So if you wanted to get this and you were to press buy now, as soon as you have that, we would add this onto your account, and you would have full access to these modules, and we can help you set them up and all of that to make it do whatever you need it to do. So super customizable. Like I said, I'm going to put this link in the chat, and then we'll also include this in the email afterwards. So you will always have access to kind of jump into this and see what is available. That's really it for me. But before I do pass it over to Angelo, does anyone have any questions so far on any of these features that we went over? All right. If not, feel free to ask still. But before we get into that, I'm going to send a second poll out to you guys. We're really trying to get you guys engaged clearly. So I'm going to send this poll out. And if you could fill that out, it would be really helpful. Like Brittany said in the beginning, this is our first workshop that we've done, and any feedback is great. And if you didn't learn anything, be honest. If we could do anything different, please let us know. So I'm going to send this poll out, and then I'm going to turn it over to Angelo.
Happy Tuesday, everybody. We'll give a second for the poll. So the first question is, why isn't my phone ringing? This is a pretty common question, and I want to try to incorporate a couple things that we already went over to try to help you figure out, potentially why a certain phone isn't ringing. And I'm going to share my screen now too and go over it here. Okay. So we can go over extension settings first. So going back to settings and then extension settings. A really common reason why people's phones aren't ringing is simply because they may have accidentally pressed like the feature code and put their phone on DND. That's why we want to bring this to people's attention, because this is a really easy way to go to settings, extension settings, and just see your full list of extensions and look at the status of your extensions there. Another really common thing with like BRIAs, specifically like soft phones, and it can happen with hard phones as well, is simply that the phone just lost connection, or lost registration is the technical word for it. But simply the phone just lost connection to the server. And just a quick sign out and sign it back in or reboot of the phone usually will fix that. Really happens more frequently on people on Wi-Fi. I know sometimes I work on my laptop, sometimes I work on my desktop, and it happens like I'm always looking at FAQ2 because I want to know if my phone lost connection, because obviously I want to know if my phone's ringing or not. So that is a couple things. Also, another thing is if potentially an extension's not in the ring group, and that's really easy to add or remove an extension out of a ring group as well. You just go under applications, ring groups, and then you find the ring group that you want to add or remove from, and you just add or remove the extension, and then you just hit submit and apply. It's pretty easy. So those are a couple reasons why your phone might not be ringing. And then we can go to the next one here. All right, what can I do on my own, and what do I need Arbeit to do for me? So looping back to what we showed you earlier, and this is where I'll go a bit deeper into FAQ2 and what you can and can't do with it. And this will answer your question a bit more too, Michael, and I can follow up with you after. We can go into that too. But basically, you use the same login, and I'll share my screen again just so you can see me logging in. So you go ahead and you can use the same login that you use for FAQ2, or for your voice portal. I mean, you just go to this URL. So it's FOP2 and then /admin. So it's the same URL, same FOP2. You just add /admin afterwards, and then it'll probably prompt you to log in, because I'm sure you haven't logged in before. Use the same credentials that you do, and then from here, what you do is you click on, and again, this is how you can change your own extension name in FOP2. So what you do is, after you make the change on your voice portal, so under applications, extensions, you make whatever change you want to make to your extension. And then what you do is, after you submit and apply here, what you do is you go to your FOP2 /admin, and what you do is you click on users, and you go up here and you hover over actions, recreate users, you click that, and then that'll kind of refresh the page. That'll be kind of like your submit button, and then you got to click on reload panel, and this will be like your apply config button to actually apply the change. And then after you do that, you'll actually see the name change updated on your FOP2 panel, and that's how you can kind of control what is displayed there. And then this is answering Michael's question directly. So there are these things called groups. So each user here has their own group that they're in, for example, and you can select the group that you want the user to see in the panel. And you can also, it basically will filter them based on sales or support or whatever you want. And then this is a bit more how it looks like. So, you know, we have different people in support, we have different people in admin, we have different people in sales. And so you just separate them by their group. And then basically just you go up here and you click on the recreate users button and you reload the panel. So you can kind of divide it up however you want, you know, make your own groups, whether it be for different offices or different locations or different departments or what have you. And then another thing you can do on your own too is changing the destination for different routes. So let's say you have your regional caller ID link back set to go to your sales ring group, like, or your main ring group. Let's say you want to change that to go to an individual extension for a period of time. All you do is you go into here, you under connectivity, inbound routes, you find the RCI or DCI link back. And what you do is you change the destination here at the bottom from ring groups to say extensions, and you pick whatever extension you want. And then you will go ahead and hit submit and then apply. So that way you can kind of change it on the fly if you want to direct the traffic to a certain ring group or direct it to a certain extension. It's super easy to do. And then just a quick refresher too on the adding and remove ring groups. I kind of already went over that, but same concept. You know, you find under applications, ring groups, find the ring group you want to change, and then you just add or remove the extension from the list. You also have like a bit of a drop down menu here too if you ever need to reference it on the right, make it a bit easier for you. And then another refresher too, what Ashley was talking about is the admin blacklist. Go under here, admin, blacklist, and then blacklist number. And then you see here, I have the anonymous just blocked here. So you can also type in restricted and then apply. You can maybe sometimes it has something like a 1 in front of it. It just has to match whatever caller ID is displayed. So that's all I want to emphasize. And then those are a lot of things that you can do. And then we can go on to we can go to the next slide now, Ashley, and then go to what kind of numbers can we purchase. So we can purchase, you know, what specific local area code numbers. We can do, you know, toll-free numbers anywhere from 833 up to 8888, depending on what's available. You know, specifically local area codes, like you know, certain super busy area codes may be unavailable just because they're all purchased, and there are usually secondary number areas or area codes rather that serve the same area, but it's maybe not just as common or popular area code. And then finally, the regional caller IDs or DCIs as well. That's a good segue into our next point too. I'll talk about DCIs with the final thing I'm going to talk about is registering numbers.
Angelo, you're still sharing your screen. Oh, sorry, guys.
No, that's okay. Oh, I got you. Sorry, I thought you could see both. So yeah, what kind of phone numbers can I add to my account? Yeah, so I talked about toll frees, locals, and DCIs. You know, I really, with call labeling being as big as it is in these days, I really recommend regional caller IDs, just because if you're sending out a bunch of traffic on a single number, you're more likely gonna get that labeled as scam likely, and it's gonna pretty much, you know, impact your connection rate with your customers. So then how does registering my numbers work? So I'm going to share my screen again, and I'm going to go through a knowledge base article that we created, and I'm going to go through a couple steps of how to register your own numbers. I will put this link in the chat as well, just so you can see it. So do that. I'll put the link in after I explain it. So basically, here's the knowledge base article. There is basically a description of it, a link to a different article, and basically a step-by-step process on how to do it. It's very easy. It's super simple. So step one is you just go to the website of registering your numbers. And before I go into it, let me just kind of explain what it is and kind of what the purpose of it is. So this is a way to register your numbers with the third-party carriers that handle the risk rating for all the major carriers. You know, T-Mobile, AT&T, Verizon, and it does take about 14 to 18 days to actually fully get them registered. But this is really the purpose of this is so you can kind of state that you're, you know, a legitimate business. You're not a scam. These numbers are for legitimate business reasons. And in the past, I know that we've kind of registered numbers for people, but it's kind of developed a little bit and requires a bit more from clients. And in my opinion, I just think it's a lot easier to just show people how to do it and then kind of put it in your hands. So that way you can kind of, you know, handle your own numbers and handle the status of it. So to go through it really quick, basically you go to this website, you click on register here, and then what you would do is you would enter in the numbers pretty simply like this. And then you just basically, you're required to fill out the starred asterisk lines, you know, the category your calls are. There's tons of different categories. You would fill out your contact name, the company name, your email, the calling company name, calling company address, and at the bottom, you would click on send verification code after you fill in all this required info. And by the way, I just want to note too, the display name and like the company name and stuff like that, calling company name, this has to match how you answer the phone. So if like you pick up the phone and you say company ABC, because that's how you're doing business as, I recommend filling it out like that. It just has to match that. And then at the very bottom, after you fill out all this info, you would click on send verification code, and it will send a verification code to the email that you fill out with. And then you just enter it in here. And it does take about 14 to 18 days to actually kind of fully register your numbers with all the different, with a few different companies here. And what's really nice too about when doing this yourself is you get email confirmations from them about when your numbers are confirmed, registered, and stuff like that too. So it kind of makes it really easy for you, and it really is nice because it's kind of in your control, you know.
I think Mike has another question too. Whenever
okay.
You're...
Yeah, I was about to say, I think I'm pretty much all set. Yeah, if you want to unmute, Michael, go ahead.
Yeah. So with this registry, it has the option, and I presume you got to be truthful on this. That so you even checked it there that it's a collections call. Is that reflected in any way to these third-party apps like Haya that's on, you know, every single Samsung piece of hardware? How are they using that information, or is it more just to identify who you are to this registry?
As I understand it, it's mainly to just identify you as a legitimate collections business. Yeah. Ashley, you can speak on it more if you know more, but that's basically the limit of my understanding of it. So
yeah, it doesn't like come up on consumer caller IDs like Carter Young collections. So it doesn't like say that. The display name is what you put. Does get associated with your numbers, so that if the carrier that is putting that call through, if it allows the caller ID to show, that's what it would show, but it doesn't say collections anywhere. It's more so just for the carriers, so they know that information.
Yeah, I guess I'm more concerned about the labeling. You know, with these third-party apps. I mean, it's kind of hard to argue, hey, you got labeled as collections. Well, that's what I put, you know. But I'm a little bit worried about like third-party disclosure potentially.
Got it. Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of clients who use this website, and they really haven't had an issue, and they're all like collections, like they all say collections on them. So there have been no issues as far as the clients who have been registered through those, with that collections answer.
Sweet, thank you.
Yeah, well, that's about it for me in terms of frequently asked questions and ending with the registering number. So I'll send it back over to you, Ashley.
Thank you. And you stopped sharing your screen?
Yeah, did you want to see something?
No, just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, cool. All right, guys. So that's pretty much it. It is a Q&A. So if there is any questions that you do have, that you didn't want to ask during, or if there was something that you wanted us to go more further in, definitely let us know. I'm also going to send one last poll. We like polls today. So I'm going to send one last poll. I would very much appreciate if you were 100% honest. So I'm going to get that out. And then, yeah, feel free. If there's any questions that you have, please let me know.
And I also just want to say thanks for hanging out. Thanks for showing up and engaging with us today for this. This was awesome. And I know, like Ashley was saying, this is our first one that we're doing for Voice. And I know that's something that we want to start doing is more of these. And also it's also not just for the sake of the people that are on the call right now. I mean, I know Michael, Dan Mahoney, I know you guys are, you know, more experienced, more knowledgeable about Arbeit stuff and phones and whatnot. So going forward, you know, if you guys ever have managers, or if you guys ever have, you know, supervisors or anybody that you think would benefit from getting on a call like this and spending, you know, 45 minutes with us, that's also, you know, what this is for. So, you know, when we do these in the future, feel free to, you know, bring however many registrations or however many people you want to this. So thanks again.
Yeah, definitely. And we are planning to do these for all our other products as well. So even if you are not clients on other products and you still want to learn more about them, we like going through hidden or forgotten features just because there's a lot in all of our products. And, you know, once you guys, you know, first started, I'm sure it was not very in depth because the goal is to get you up and running as quickly as possible. Phone system is a huge thing for collection agencies. So we definitely want to continue doing these. And if you think that we can add anything more to a voice workshop, that would be great. So yeah, thank you guys so much. And if you want us to follow up after, or if you have any questions after, feel free to reach out to us. All right. Well, thank you guys so much. Have a great rest of your day. And yeah, if there's anything we can do to help, let us know.
Thanks, guys.